How you doing? I'm Attorney Gerald Griggs, President of the Georgia State Conference. I'm here with Richard Rose, the President of the Atlanta branch of the NAACP, and we are at the barbershop. And you know what happens in the barbershop. We hash out all the issues of today, and today we're talking about the Senate runoff between Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock. And we need to talk about the issues, educate ourselves on the issues. And one of the most important issues in Georgia is voting rights and elections. You cannot have two more starker contrasts than Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker on voting rights and the election. Herschel Walker believes that the 2020 election was stolen. Raphael Warnock believes it was a fair election that was the safest election in Georgia history. Further, Herschel Walker believes that the election integrity bill that was passed, the one we call the voter suppression bill, he believes that was necessary, even though 60 judges said there was no evidence of rampant election fraud, where Raphael Warnock has put forth bills to protect our voting through the John Lewis Voting Rights and Advancement Act. So you couldn't have any starker contrast. What do you think, Richard?
And one of the most troubling things about it to me is that what candidate Walker does is echo what former President Donald Trump has been saying for 2 years, that the election was stolen, the voting was corrupt, and we know, as you said, over 60 judges have said there's been no substantial voting fraud, they couldn't find any. They did a recount 3 times in Georgia about this election, and they all came up at the same time. They had one case of absentee ballot fraud in Cobb County, and that was a person who was voting for their dead spouse. And they probably were Trump voters. So we got to be realistic about where we are in America. Voting suppression is not new in America. It started right after emancipation that formed the Ku Klux Klan to stop and intimidate black people from voting. So it's always been one thing after another. Voting tests, poll taxes, whether your grandfather voted could determine whether you could vote. So these are nothing new, and it is such a shame that a black candidate, would stand and repeat these same outrageous claims of ballot fraud without any kind of substantiation behind it.
Yeah, and so I think you have to educate yourselves on the issues, learn what the candidates really stand for. We will be placing the nonpartisan candidate guide on the website so you can read it for yourself, the candidate's position. But I want to reiterate, there's nothing more important in Georgia than our voting rights and fair elections. And in order to have fair elections, you have to have the truth about elections. And the truth is the 2020 election was the fairest, most secure election of our lifetime.
Most scrutinized.
Most scrutinized as well. And so you have to know the facts and make sure you educate yourself when you go vote. Make sure you go vote.
Make sure you go vote.